Women's Book Club. Today we're discussing Think and Grow Rich. This happens to be the, I know it's backwards, you can't read it, but it's the classic text. I also have Think and Grow Rich Every Day. It's 365 days, not that I've read it. And I also have it in my Kindle and in my Audible. So there you go. I should be the expert, right? And not. And I'm Tamara Weber. I'm in Arizona. This is Ellen Vera. Well, we can kind of see Ellen. We can see the top. Okay, yeah.
I'm kind of short, so you know. Just kidding.
We did get you a couple phone books to sit on.
I know. I'm hiding a piece of cake and a Reese's peanut butter cup. That's what I'm hiding below the thing here.
Well, it is 9 days till Halloween, so there you go.
There you go.
And Ellen is in Northern California, San Francisco Bay Area, and then Teresa Fox in Kansas City.
Woohoo!
And I wish I had a piece of cake and a Reese's peanut butter. I do not.
So we decided to read, you know, the Bible of big thinking, of manifesting lots of money, of success, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And do you want to start, Ellen?
I will. And I think this is one of those books that you can literally reread every year and get a little bit more out of it, get a little more insight into what he's talking about. And I think for our purposes as real estate agents, there were really two things that really jumped out at me. And the first one is how he views failure. And I love that in the second chapter of the book, he was talking about a man named Mr. Darby and 3 feet from gold. And what I found fascinating is that the lesson here is of course, you know, what does it mean to quit? Who quits? What does that mean? And that in essence, when Napoleon Hill is telling us, is failure is quitting at a temporary defeat. And that's really the sting of that whole Darby story, is that the defeat that he felt, that vein of gold was gone, is temporary. That the man who actually bought his used equipment found it and struck it rich. But what I love is that story then goes on to say, when he then goes into selling life insurance, he learned his lesson. So what I got out of that is, as real estate agents, we come across failure all the time, right? They listed with somebody else, the offer didn't get accepted, the listing didn't sell. You know, things aren't going to work out in our favor. And we have different levels of failure, I would say. But really, ultimately, what's going to guarantee our success is not quitting at what's considered just temporary defeats, right? So that's one of the most important lessons that I got out of the first 2 chapters of the book. And then, of course, then the second big one was really becoming success-minded. It was really, how strongly do you want what you say that you desire? And another one of the stories he mentions is a man who, in essence, burnt his boats, burnt the ships once they reached the shore, and said, one of 2 things are going to happen. We're either going to defeat our enemy, or we're going to die, because we have no way out. A little extreme for real estate. Okay, we're not going to die, right, doing this job. But it does talk. I mean, well, to me, this is the first that I thought of, is that think of how many opportunities we have to take the easy way out. Buying leads, buying business through discounts, advertising, basically the easy way out. What I think by coaching with Mike Ferry, what we're all doing is we're burning those ships. We're saying, we're not going to take the easy way out. We're not going to buy the internet leads. We're not going to spend all of our profits on advertising. We're going to burn those ships. And basically it's forcing us then to say, are we willing to do what we need to do to get business and to keep going?
Burn the ships!
Burn the ships! There you go. Those are the two most important lessons that I got out of the first two chapters that we.
Excellent. How about you, Teresa?
So are we just doing the first two chapters?
Yes, we are, right? Because this is a thick. I mean, it's not a thick book, but it's a dense book in the sense that you can really go through chapter by chapter, and I find that we can extract the gold from it. But to do that, well, I think we really do need to take it just a couple chapters at a time.
I wouldn't mind doing that. I mean, yeah, I think it's like, I mean, when I was joking when I said it's the Bible, but I mean, really, if you think about it, like how many people that you listen to or read or, you know, inspirational speakers, Mike Ferry, gurus, whatever, don't refer to Think and Grow Rich. Like everybody, it's the basis of everything. And so, yeah, I don't think it would be a problem to really break it down and look at it in detail. The biggest thing I got so far from the book is, and I'm sure it's one of those books too, that the more I read it, the more it'll sink in and really make sense to me, is there was a line in the book about how it's not hard work alone isn't what brings wealth. Like it never comes from that. It comes from putting a demand out there to the universe, and the universe or God meets that demand with, it provides. And it's the combination of definiteness of purpose, knowing exactly what you want, being convinced that it's possible, so belief, backed by persistent effort and a strong desire. You have to have that strong desire, a burning desire, almost an obsession. And that's what brings those really high levels of success. So that was probably the biggest thing I got from it so far.
Yeah.
Well, so I've read this book and then I listened to it this time, but I actually highlighted, so I can do chapters 1 and 2 because I highlight as I read when I read books. So the power of thought is the first chapter, and here's the thing with this book. I'm assuming when he talks about the 13 steps, it's the name of each chapter, because he doesn't ever specifically list the 13 steps of success. Am I understanding this correctly?
I think so. Yeah, that would seem to, yeah, I think you're right. Like imagination would be one, definiteness of purpose would be another one. Yeah.
Okay, so the first chapter is the power of thought, and he talks about the man who thought his way into the partnership with Thomas Edison. Yeah. And when one is truly ready for a thing, it puts in its appearance. And definitely adopt a definite purpose and stand by that purpose until it's time to become an all-consuming obsession, which I know, like if you talk about or listen to Grant Cardone, he talks be obsessed or be average. And it talks about the obsession later in the book again. So you come up with this thought, and the reason they want you to have that obsession is because that's what you're constantly thinking about when you're obsessed with something. And that's what it takes to take it, to start to create it into becoming something real. Let's see here. I didn't take a lot of notes in chapter 1. The other thing in chapter 1 is when riches begin to come, they come so quickly in such great abundance that one wonders where they have been hiding during all those lean years. And I've read this several times. Once it starts coming, it starts flowing, and you're just like, wow. It's almost like something clicks and people get it, and then you can't even stop the flow. Mm-hmm. So, and one sound idea is all you need to achieve success. Of course, with real estate, we don't necessarily, we're working for our goal. You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. I love that quote. Maintain a spirit of open-mindedness. But the chapter 2 on desire, the starting point of all achievement. And I actually took a lot of notes in this chapter. And I did love the burning of the boats. That really resonated with me too. And also the guy that stopped 3 feet from gold, and instead of saying, you know, giving up on life, it drove him to success in something else.
Mhm.
So, and that was his whole message was, don't quit, don't ever quit. That's basically the secret of success, is never quitting, because people quit so easily. And like you said, in real estate, we get shut down every hour. It feels like. So it's learning how to deal with that and move on. And it does get easier. It stops to phase you. So we're well practiced in that area. One of the big homework assignments in here that I have actually done and I love is, it says to fix in your mind the exact amount of money that you desire. You can't say, I want to be rich, or I just want plenty of money. You have to have a exact amount of money. Do you guys have an exact amount of money? I'm not going to ask you to share it on here, but
it's interesting because when I got to that part of the book, I had to think about it, because I kept flip-flopping. I'm like, oh, I want to make this much. Oh, I want to make that much. Oh, I want to make this much. And I'm like, well, that's probably, you know, what's going on. I need to have like one, like, how does the universe know what to give me if I keep flip-flopping? So
yeah, Tamara, that's a good point, that it's hard to fixate on a specific number. So I am curious, how would, so Teresa, do you have a number in mind?
Oh yeah.
And how did you come up?
I say it out loud 10 times a day. I have it written in this book. I take notes in this book and I do the exercises in it. In fact, I just was talking to my 5th grade pen pal. We're still friends. And I told her the number. I said, I'm too busy making blah, blah, blah. And she goes, okay, that's random. I said, I know. I said, and that's why I feel like it came from the universe, because it's such a random number. And have you heard the story of Jim Carrey, how he wrote a check to himself by the date? And he actually ended up making that money right before that date.
Wow.
So that's what this is asking you to do. So I have an agent in my office that does, but I'm going to do this. You write yourself, you make up like a bank statement that looks like your bank statement with that total of the amount, and then put the date on the bank statement. He did a check. He wrote a check.
Yeah.
But our money's not going to come in one, I don't feel like one lump sum. It's going to come in several. So it makes more sense to me to create like a bank statement that shows that balance at the bottom and the date that I'm going to have it. And that's what it tells you to do. It's page 22. Come up with the exact number. And this is the other thing. Determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. There is no such reality as something for nothing.
Yeah.
Well, for us, that's the day-to-day work, the grind, the education, everything that we do to be the best agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was, I don't know if this is in this chapter or not, but I was going to talk about it. So I may be ahead of myself, but he talks about there's 2 types of knowledge: generalized knowledge and specialty. What was the word?
Like specialized knowledge?
Specialized knowledge, yeah. And generalized knowledge will never bring you wealth. Only specialized knowledge. And so the work that we put into our business, we are creating specialized knowledge. We never look at it. We never stop learning in our trade. Our focus is nonstop of what's going on in the real estate world. What can I do to be a better agent? And learning from the top agents in the country how to do this.
Yeah.
So, but the other thing I've read recently is when you create a goal and then it says, what are you willing to sacrifice for that goal?
Mm.
And I've never heard it put that way, but it is a sacrifice, because you're sacrificing your time.
Yep.
I mean, everything we have goes into what our business is, and that is a sacrifice. You know, I could be playing golf every day, but I'm not. So it's a sacrifice, you know? Oh, and then it says create a definite plan for carrying out your desire, which we all have a plan, and write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, name the limit, the time limit, and then state what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. So I know I talk about the other agent here in town that's also a coach, and he actually did this and showed me his note, and it's pretty impressive. And so I have wanted to do this, and this is the one homework I have never done. And so after this, I am writing a statement and he hangs his on his wall to see on the vision board. And it says you should read it aloud twice a day, right before you go to bed and right when you get up.
So Teresa, what would the statement sound like? How would it go?
Well, so the statement would be, I will be worth, my net worth will be such and such by this date. And the way I will attain that money is through my services for real estate, business development, and being the best in my industry. And the plan in which I intend to create that income is through my coaching system, mentors, and business plans, and committing to working until I achieve this goal. You know, I mean, that was a horrible example, but that kind of gives you that's what his was. My net worth will be such and such by this date, and I will do this through my services of real estate and continuing to grow as an agent. And his sounded much better than what I just came up with, but well, and that's just it, is I needed to see examples. I bet we could Google on our YouTube examples of, I can't remember what they call it. I think it's just your personal statement is what they call it.
Personal statement, okay, or desire for riches.
Yeah.
It sounds to me that if each of us thought of how much money do we want, you know, either income generated, net worth, etc., by what date, and what we're prepared to do to get that, to make that money, then eventually we keep working on it, thinking about it, reading it out loud, and then eventually it becomes so polished that it resonates with us, right?
Right. Into your subconscious mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe this is something that the four of us should be doing from now until the end of the year, so that we can then start kind of internalizing that mission and make it our own.
Yeah, and saying it twice a day. I'm up for that. I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll definitely do it. And if it does make sense to do this book 2 chapters at a time. I mean, I'm listening to it, honestly, I didn't even take any notes, because I would have been taking a note every 2 sentences. So then I was so overwhelmed, I didn't take any notes. And that's why I had to grab my book, because I highlighted in yellow everything. So yeah, and the other thing in here that resonates with me is you have to become money conscious. And I have got to work on, you know, knowing my numbers and my budget at the drop of the hat. Mike Ferry, he'll want you to say, what's your numbers? I should know that right now, every day. And that needs to be a focus. So yeah, this book is, I mean, I get it. I get why people read it over and over again.
Yeah. So Ellen, I was telling Teresa, I was on a long drive, and I was listening to Think and Grow Rich, and I got like a little bit bored. So I turned it off, and I turned on just a talk that Bob Proctor did that I had downloaded. And the very first thing he said is, I have been listening to Think and Grow Rich over and over again for 9 years. And I just went, all right, I get it.
Hey, fine, Bob. I'll get back to Think and Grow. But you know, do you want to hear something interesting? Something that you just said, Tamara, is that you said, I was listening to Think and Grow Rich and I got bored.
right?
Happen?
Well, it's because I think it's because it's like so like it makes you think so much. I don't think that I was bored. I think I was too lazy to allow my mind to actually work. Like I just wanted to be mindless or something, you know. And that's what he says too in the book. He says thinking is so rare and it's the one thing that we need to learn to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love this in the book. It says every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success. That's promising.
Great. I love that quote. Yeah, that's a really good quote.
And then the other thing in chapter 2, did you know Beethoven was deaf? I guess I never realized that. And I love Beethoven. So I was kind of like, what?
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, I think I've heard at some point I find that fascinating. But I don't think he was born deaf. I think he became deaf. But that he could still.
How did he write the music? Was it through the vibrations of the piano? Is that how he could hear it?
I know. Isn't that amazing?
It's just fascinating to me. Sorry, squirrel.
Well, that kind of brought to mind something else that I found really curious about in the first 2 chapters of the book. And it was where the author himself, Napoleon Hill's son, was born deaf.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And that Napoleon wanted him to be able to hear, as he said, right, be normal is the verbiage he uses. What did you guys think about that? How he went about doing that? How he, I guess, planted the seed in his son's mind of, I want you to be able to hear. And obviously it took years for that to happen. But just as parents, what were your thoughts on that?
I think honestly, I've seen that happen over and over as well in my, with other parents and children and things like that. And yeah, if you set that expectation with them that this is what's going to happen, then it opens their mind to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was a really interesting example that he gave in the book of exactly the concepts that he's describing, which is basically that thoughts become things, that thoughts are energy, that all things are energy, and the thoughts that we have create what is real in this world. And that's exactly what happened with the son. Who would have known that he would be able to hear his dad? It sounded like, from the way it was written, that his dad would like put his mouth on his something like on his neck, and then he could feel the vibrations. And from feeling those vibrations, it's like he could hear. So kind of what you.
It's really very mysterious and unusual how it happened. And it's something because I have a 7-year-old daughter, and so she's like they're like little sponges when they're that age. They just absorb everything around them and everything their parents are saying. I probably have 3 more good years until she starts. Mom, you're
putting that in the atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That is true. And I always wonder, as you're reading good books and filling your mind with good thoughts and positive energy, do you do that with your kids? Do they?
Absolutely.
You do?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's what he talks about at the end of this book. The detrimental effects on children of the parents that cut their children down, and he believes it should be against the law and punishable as a crime. Yeah. Because think about, why would you plant negative seeds inside your child? And people they do it. They do it like, you're never going to amount to anything. You are a mistake. And it's even, I've seen it in family members where it's a joke, but it's actually a bullet. And I call it out now. Obviously, everybody that knows me knows I don't tolerate any negativity at all.
That's good.
Ever. It's something this has been making me think of it. I'm just throwing this out here. Okay, so my brother was in the military. I have a lot of military friends, and I play hockey with a military guy. And I understand the concept of breaking them down mentally and telling them they're nothing, and then they have to get to a certain point where they retrain them. But what if this is the wrong way? You know what I'm saying? Because I just see their life and how destroyed they are. I don't know.
No,
I'm not saying anything towards the military. Obviously, I have a total respect, and my brother was in it, and I just wonder what it would be like if to fill them full of empowering instead of, you know how they just break them down. But I don't understand the process either, so I'm really speaking out of text. So,
well, what if you're right? What if that's a contributing factor to the PTSD that so many of them
right?
That
was my thought. That was my thought. I was wondering maybe it affects them later. If you just heard this guy speaking at the hockey game, I mean, my heart was just broken for him, because everything is just so, and he was very grateful for it. He was like, no, this is who it made me to be. But he also has learned to do that to other people.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So he thinks it's good to break people down. And I said, well, maybe that's not, anyway, I'm getting off on another tangent, but.
Well, I will tell you that one of the things that I'm very grateful for about Mike Ferry is, especially, I mean, I haven't been doing it as much probably because I don't have a tape player in my car anymore, although I do have CD. But I used to listen to Mike Ferry so much, honestly, like, and what was really cool is some of the stuff the thoughts that he puts out there, you know, it would come out of the mouths of my kids. And I was so grateful for that because it's positive thoughts. It's success thinking. And my son, my older son, he's 17 and a total driver, and he likes to pretend like he thinks everything I say is just completely, you know, wrong and everything like that. But then like I'll find out things like that he, you know, downloaded the same books that I am reading and will listen to them in his Audible and at night when he's falling asleep. And in his room right now, I'm actually so proud because he has like all these inspirational quotes all over the room, which is very cool.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. You know, I tell my son will always say, Mom, you're the only one that thinks that or says that. And I said, no, that's not true. That is not true. And even if it was true, I will never stop telling you what an amazing person you are, because it's all in your mind. It's a mindset. It's people are going to tell you that you're not good enough your whole life. And I'm here to tell you that you are. I mean, they have to have someone in their corner. They have to. Because we all get, you know, and not everybody does. So I say be the ripple.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
So.
be the positive stone thrown into the pond that ripples good positive vibes out there. Well, you know, I think the biggest gift that we can give our children is resilience. And Teresa, like what you're saying, is that you can do good things. You can do great things. Just believe that in yourself, because I believe in it. And I know you can do it. Because we know our kids are going to come across, it's life, right? And so
right.
The biggest gift we as mothers can give them is that no matter what happens to you, you have the choice to create something good out of it. Right?
Absolutely.
So with every failure, there's a seed of an equivalent of success. And that all you have to do is go out and get it. And I think it's we as mothers, that's our most important job as parents. Is to
absolutely.
Our kids.
I tell them, hey, it's good to have haters. Haters mean you're doing something right.
There you go. When you stick your neck out there, some people aren't going to like it for a variety of reasons.
Yep.
Move on. And I think that the challenge that all of our kids have is that they're in a fishbowl with social media being the way it is, that everything that they do and everything that they are is being recorded. The three of us didn't have that. Or I'm assuming y'all can.
That was not going on.
I mean, it's already bad enough now, you know. I mean, honestly, like, you know, what do they say about Facebook? Like, it's, hi, this is, you know, the best 5% of my life. Look at it, you know. Yeah. You see the days when I wake up and, you know, I haven't brushed my hair, that type of thing. Well, actually, you guys do.
I put it up, so I didn't have to brush it.
But, you know, I always think we are who we are by because we've made mistakes. We had failure. Now, would we be able to be as resilient as we are if we knew it was being recorded?
Yeah, and blasted out to the whole school.
Exactly, exactly. That's what I don't like about social media is that two things. One, it can be fake. People can kind of doctor what they show to the world. But secondly, I know Gabby's going to do stupid stuff. And I kind of want her to do stupid stuff. Nothing like permanent.
Right.
But I want her to make mistakes because that's how you learn. But my concern is that her mistakes are going to be recorded by a friend and posted somewhere that could embarrass her for years. And I don't like that.
That's not a friend. That's cruel.
But you know what I'm saying. That's but
No, I know.
It's a valid concern, absolutely, because it happens, you know. Or the other thing, believe me, because I'm already on this side of all the things, you know, that you get afraid of once you have teenagers and you have to let them out of your sight for extended periods of time, is, you know, it's very scary, like the things that kids, you know, and I say kids, even 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds will do for social media, like these stupid pranks or whatever. What do you call it? Like things that they think will be cool to take a video and post on, you know, one of the social media outlets, and something goes wrong and they literally die or get injured for, you know, hurt themselves or somebody else. I mean, that is a reality of social media. So I know we're kind of going down a road right now.
Where are the books?
But it just goes to show you, like, the world is a little, you know, it is what it is today with having young, you know, older children, younger children, teenagers, but it's different. It's definitely different with social media as part of it. That's for sure.
I thought one interesting thing, which goes back to Mike Ferry, is it says basically no one is ready for a thing until he believes he can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief. So it all goes back to the state of mind.
Yeah.
I mean, it does.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that the key word there is belief. I don't remember the exact quote, but one of the things I got from reading these chapters was, I can't just sit there and say, you know, I make $1 million a year, I make $1 million a year. I have to have the belief behind it, like the true belief. So that's a key.
Well, and it breaks down the steps. It says, imagine yourself successful, reflect on your past successes, and then set definite goals. This is the first step in achieving success. And then respond positively to life. I missed that one, but so there you go.
And step 4, I forgot about that one.
Oh, yeah. I do that.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm excited. We get to finally really study this book.
I know, this is good. This is good.
So are we gonna do a different book next week and then come back to 2 more chapters so it mixes it up a little bit? It's up to you, Tamara. We can discuss that later, but I don't know.
Let's keep going with this, and in the meantime, we'll think of if after chapters 3 and 4 we want to jump to another book just to kind of break things up. I know Bianca mentioned she's reading Shoe Dog, which is a book I've heard a lot about. She says she's loving it. It's the one about Nike.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. I have a good book too. I just started reading that was referred to me, Getting to Yes. Have you read this? Negotiating.
That would be a great one to read. We should definitely.
Negotiating agreement without giving in. It talks about all kinds of stuff, psychological and things about negotiating and famous negotiating meetings and why it turned out the way it did. It's really good for our line of business.
Do you guys want to skip to that book and then we'll go back to chapters 3 and 4 after? We'll do that one next week.
Yeah.
I'm good with that because I'm on chapter 11.
You're way ahead of the game.
Yeah. So, I mean, personally, I would like to stick with Think and Grow Rich.
Okay. Yeah, and then we can go back to Getting to Yes. Just keep your notes, Teresa. Keep your notes.
Got it. But the main reason is here,
chapter 3 is my favorite chapter.
Oh, there you go. But as we go towards 2018, you know, we're all working on our business plan and getting that done. And I think this is going to have a big impact on it.
Good point.
So,
Hey, and this is the thing I read every day with the amount of money that I want to make.
Well, I think I'm glad you brought that up. So do we want to go ahead and craft at least a draft of our mission statement? What we
Absolutely
want, when we want it, and how we're going to do to get it. What we're going to do to get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That was page 22, right?
Okay, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yep. Page 22.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I already had it marked. I just never did it.
Yeah. And so maybe for next week, if we could read another couple chapters and then talk about our statement.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
That sounds great.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Cool.
Perfect.
Right. Okay, well, we missed Bianca. I always love hearing her point of view, but we'll catch her next time.
Yep.
Yay. Okay, guys.
Thank you, ladies.
All right. Have a good day.
Okay.
Burn the boats.
Burn the boats. Exactly. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.